Welcome back, everybody.
Nobody was sitting there this month, it's July 4, and someone's worried on that. That's real exercise. Go ahead and take your homework out. We'll go over it. Some of it might have been a little bit difficult, like the back end was asking you to apply this little stuff in like more algebraic type thinking. And then today is a like partner practice. So you don't have to work with a partner, but you can if you move this closer to somebody, just have your shields up. Make everybody feel better and safer. Does anybody know that they have to go get their picture taken today, or are we all done? Oh, you said when is yours? Not today. This year. Oh, mine is 12:30. So that's right then. We talked about that. So hey, everybody. Anybody else? You know when? Or you leave at the same time? You know where to go and everything. You're good. Okay, so 12:30 is good. Everybody else is probably good. Okay, great. Oh, Graceful is gonna end up coming in a little bit late. Okay, so you guys at home, you can open up your homework. Like I said, we're gonna go over it. The beginning of it, I get to feel was pretty easy. And then the application questions, like number 12, might have become a little bit more difficult. So take a look at 1 through 4. This is very straightforward. Plot 2 points, find your slope. You could do it using the formula. That's what I did, just because the grids kind of give me a headache trying to figure out the count. So it's just easier to subtract them. But any questions on 1 through 4? And you always want everything simplified. So for number 1, I got 16 over 12 reduces to 4/3. So if you can reduce something, you want to reduce it. Same over here. -2 over 2 is 1, -1. Make sure everything's reduced. Again, if you notice that your sign's wrong, you can go back in and check your answer. If your line is increasing from left to right, your slope should be positive. If it's decreasing from left to right, it should be negative. So you can do that quick check. So if I accidentally wrote 1 here and notice that my line's going backwards, I would just throw the negative sign in front of it. That's all. You get the same value no matter what. So are we good if I switch from the first 4? You guys, if you guys at home have any questions, you can, I'm like.
Can I write 4 over 3 as 1 over 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good with that. Next ones were the same. 7 and 8 were your vertical and horizontal lines. So I didn't have a horizontal change for number 7. So that means the denominator was 0, and you can't ever divide something by 0, right? -3 minus -3 is 0. So that's undefined. No vertical change means your slope is 0. Are we okay? Yeah.
How do we get into number 4?
Oh, I have no idea. That should be 6, huh? 6 and 6.
I got 6.
Yeah, well, because I noticed you were getting like weird eyes, and then so I was looking at it too. So like something's wrong, and something is wrong. What's that?
Number 6, is it okay if I say 0.5, -0.5?
You want to leave it as a fraction.
Okay.
Yeah, that's easy. Any other questions on 5 through 8? And vertical lines, yeah, not the best way to remember it, but vertical lines, V and U are close together in the alphabet, so a vertical line is always undefined. Horizontal has an O in it, O and 0. So like I said, not the best, but something helpful.
Yesterday, I forgot to tell you, the last page on the homework was at 3, and I just realized it just loaded.
Okay, that's okay. When I put it up, you can write it in, figure it in, but that's fine. Are we good with these ones? Thinking okay?
Yeah, I was kind of confused on how I didn't get a vertical on number 8. Yeah.
So I'd like using your formula, -2 minus -2 over 1 minus -4 turns into plus signs. -2 plus 2 is 0. 1 plus 4 is 5. If I do 0 divided by anything, you're always gonna be zero.
For number 6, how do you not get a -2? That's right.
So it doesn't, okay, so yeah, so technically I would put the negative sign up here rather than on the bottom. But whether it's on the top or the bottom, your final answer is still negative. So it doesn't really matter if you keep it on the top or on the bottom. Because like, if I would decide to count from B to A, which, I mean, typically don't do, but I would be going up 2 and left 4. And then since left is a negative direction, I put it down at the bottom. But even if it's on the top or on the bottom, your whole answer is still negative, so it doesn't really matter. Anything else on those? So then what was next? Two more like this, another vertical line, another horizontal line. And then number 11 asked you just to pick 2 sets of points on that line to find the slope to figure out if you get the same answer. So it was kind of getting at, it doesn't matter which 2 points you pick on a line. If your line is a steady straight line and the rate of change isn't changing, like yesterday at the beginning of class, we looked at one where it got steeper as we moved through the line. If your line is just straight and doesn't change, you're gonna get the same slope no matter what point you pick. You might just have some that aren't reduced. So right away, it might not seem like 6/9 is the same thing as 2/3. But again, that's why you always wanna reduce your slope, because that reduces to 2/3, so you're always gonna get the same thing. So it doesn't matter which point you choose. No, if it's a straight line, you're always gonna get the same slope. Sometimes you might need to just reduce further. It doesn't matter. That's all that question was getting at. Hey Grace, welcome back. Any questions on 9, 10, or 11? Because then I think we started getting into some issues with number 12, right? Got a little bit confusing. It asked you to understand, number 1, what the slope formula is, and then how to apply it to figure out a missing value. So what that means, here, I'm gonna erase this so that I can kind of go through it, because I think looking at it all like that gets a little bit confusing. But I have to figure out what number to pick for R so that this is my slope. And again, we know that we find slope by subtracting the y coordinates and subtracting the x coordinates. So if I subtract my y coordinates here, I would write that as R minus 2. And then if I subtract my x coordinates, -7 minus 5 is -12. So that's how I would write the slope. I need to figure out what that number is. They're telling me that the slope is 5/6. So this has to be equal to 5/6. So there's 2 ways to solve it from here. So now if we ignore all of the talk of slope, this is just what we did last chapter with proportions. So we could cross multiply. What's -12 times 5? This is
-60.
-60. So then if I multiply across the other diagonal, we get 6 times R minus 2. And then, again, ignoring all of the talk of slope, now we're just solving an equation like we did in the last chapter. So I would add 12, going through this quickly because we should be pretty confident with solving equations. Oops, divided by 6. We get a value of R is equal to -8. You could have thought about that a quicker way. I'm just gonna use a marker. Caitlin was talking about this morning. If you look at the bottom numbers, 6 times what gives you -12? -2. So you, like, this could also be looked at as like one of those shortcut ways where 6 times -2 is equal to -12. So then 5 times -2 is -10. So that means that whatever's in the top of that fraction has to be -10. When you did the same thing, adding 2 to both sides, you still end up getting a value at -8. So it doesn't matter which one you do. Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that when you like write on the board like that, you know the people at home can see that.
No? It doesn't show up?
I can usually see it when I'm
Okay.
Oh,
Don't say that is like a huge issue that one, if that's happening across the board, you should have told me that earlier. So I don't know why it's not showing up on your end.
Yeah.
But everyone else can see what I'm writing? Okay.
I just be
Because I almost had a mild like fall over panic attack with that. But sometimes there are glitches where I might have to use just like a whiteboard marker. So I understand that, but I'm just using this application. So if when I share it, it should just come through. Any questions on number 12? For me. Number 13 and 14, they asked you to think about the slope. And here, I'm going to erase this again just to clarify what we had to do here. So you were given 2 points. You didn't need to connect the 2 points. You just had to draw 2 separate lines that had a slope of -4. So you could make this a fraction. We always like to see slopes as fractions because the top number tells you how much your vertical changes. The bottom number tells you the horizontal change. So if my slope is -4/1, for my first point, that means move vertically -4. So that's down 4 and then over 1. And make your line. Same thing here, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. And then on number 14, you just had to do 3 separate lines. Both vertical change of 2, horizontal change of 5, so I went up 2 and over 5. Then it asked you to make any observations about the lines. So what do you notice about these 2 lines together? And what do you notice about these 3 lines together? Caitlin?
All the lines are parallel, so we'll not consider whatever it intersects.
Right. So the idea behind those questions was that if you have the same slope, your lines are always going to be parallel. Parallel means 2 lines that are never going to intersect. On the work that you're working on today, it asks you to figure out if some shapes are parallelograms. Do you know what a parallelogram is? What's a parallelogram? A shape where opposite sides are parallel. So if you're trying to figure out if a shape is a parallelogram, you can find the slopes of opposite sides. If they're equal, then they're parallel. So you would check left and right side, you would check top and bottom side. If you're parallel, it means your slopes are the same. So that's what that was getting at. And then that was it, right? Was that your last question? Yeah, because that's now today. So any other final questions on that? So I'm gonna pass out your work for today. You guys at home, this should be uploaded in there. You can just work on it. You can stay in the Google Meet in case you have any questions. You guys are free to work with one another. But like I said, if you can move a seat. If you want to move the seat, just put your shield up, listen to me, make you feel better. This is what, like whatever you don't finish here wouldn't be your homework. Bring it back in first period tomorrow. Some questions do try to get you to think outside of the box a little bit to apply what we know about what a slope is.
Miss Landon,
Yes, Scarlett. What's up?
did you post the work in Google Classroom?
I believe I did. I can check to make sure. But I may have forgot. Yeah, it should be in there. If you go Tuesday, November 10th, open up period 7, there should be something that says 3.3 day 2 partner practice.
I see it.
You guys don't have to, never mind. When you're done with this, take a picture of it and upload it into Google Classroom. Because I was gonna say you could leave this here, but you might not finish it today, and then I'm not gonna see you again, so just take a picture of it. So if your slope's -1 over 2. So plot that point. And your slope is -1 over 2. So how does that do that? The top, your vertical change is -1. How do you move vertically? How do you move vertically? Yeah, vertical up or down. So if it's -1, down 1, and then your horizontal change is 2, so go over 2. Okay. So that means from this point, you make a vertical change of -1 and a horizontal change of +2. Yeah, but you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're drawing lines, try to make them move through as much of the grid as you can.
So when you do that triangle examples on our screen, it's supposed to be able to.
If it's like this, then yeah, that should be showing up.
I don't see it.
Yeah, so I might, because you have a lot of issues with
Yes, it
that,
does.
so I'm gonna go check out. I don't, you don't have to do it, I have to work on this, but at some point, because that's like a big thing. But yeah, I started using this program because it lets me write right in the program so that when I share the screen, you'll be able to see it. Hold on, because I saw Abby ask a question, I'll ask you this. I'm not sure what she's referring to. I wish I, for some reason, my chat. Doesn't say that. What did she say? Which is a variable mean? Which one are you talking about, Abby? So if you're looking at 8 through 11, that's like number 12 on the homework. So you have to figure out what value that has to be so that your slope works out.
I think she's talking about like the letters before the.
Oh, so yeah, if you're just talking about how it says like K is 5.2, that's just the name of a point. So when we have points, you label them with a letter. So it doesn't really have any meaning in the math that you're gonna do. Then you didn't know that might make more sense. Is this with this? You want this over to the -1. So that means from this point, you need a vertical change of -1. So that means you go down 1. You need a horizontal change of 2. So you go down 1 and you go over 2. Yeah, so you plotted that right there. So then this is going to tell you how to move to plot the next one. So from here, -1 means move down 1 and then over 2. Plot your other one. Where exactly? What you're doing and doing. So whenever you're looking at like 4, 5, 6, and 7 parallel, find your slopes. If the slopes are the same, then they're parallel. That's your question.
I was just wondering, would always be parallel since it's
Seems like it, but there might be one that doesn't fit. So I would just find the slope of all 3 lines. Which one doesn't match would not be parallel.
how do you know like the second point that it's undefined?
Undefined is always vertical line. So it could be anything on that. Anything on, like draw a vertical line through that point and it could be anything on there. Abby, did I answer your question?
Am I not like remember this?
I mean, you can like say like A, B, C. And then write which other ones. You okay? Yeah. So undefined slope, that's when you want a vertical line. So then if you have to go to that slope or this point, and your slope's undefined, you draw a vertical line. So you don't have a final answer, right? Like your final answer is the graph. You're just asked to draw the line to get the slope. So that's your final answer. That's your final answer. You're not looking for it. You're just looking to draw the graph. Like 3 separate lines. Just like in the history. Find the slope of that line, find the slope of that other line. Yep, vertical's on the top, horizontal's on the bottom. And then one of them's not gonna fit.
How do we name the line?
You can just do like A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll erase some of this stuff so that it's not as much to look at, because you don't have to do that cheat way. But that second page is all like this. So set up your slope, set it equal to what they're giving you, and then solve the proportion that gets created.
Miss Landon,
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to you guys. What's up?
I'm confused on number 2 where it says the slope is undefined.
So for number 2, undefined slopes are always vertical lines. Is my screen still shared? Can you see it still?
Yeah, I can see it.
So if we plot the first point, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Undefined is always a vertical line. So that means I can draw the vertical line through that point, and it would just look like that.
Okay.
Lines or slopes?
Lines.
So like line A, B, or C. So you have 3 lines, find the slopes of all 3 lines. Parallel lines, you need your slopes. So some of them you're gonna see that maybe you reduce your the same slope, some of them might not do it. So just look at it as like kind of 3 separate columns. So if you wanna label it like line A, line B, line C, and then just like 3 individual slopes. See which ones match, and which don't match. You have a question?
Which ones do we do?
Everything between today and then you guys have your virtual day tomorrow. So I probably won't post an assignment for you. That way, if you don't finish with this, you can just work on it tomorrow and there's not gonna be anything new. Because you guys aren't coming back here Thursday anyway to be able to finish it in the study hall. So I am gonna post some instructions on like a changing in the grading policy, which really isn't gonna apply to any of you in here. Typically, I just like let late assignments come in whenever, but now we're kind of capping it at a week. So you're only gonna have a week to turn in something that's missing, which again, really doesn't ever apply to you guys. It's more so for my other classes. But just be aware that those instructions are gonna come through. And it might just be as that like read this and then click turn in just so that I know you read it. But your assignment will probably just be to finish up this packet.
Problem.
What's up, Peyton?
I'm kind of confused on how to find the rate of change. Is that just the slope?
Rate of change and slope is the same language.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
What if there's like no points?
You can pick 2 points on the line.
Oh.
You can pick, I always try to pick ones that are easy, so ones like fall right on a grid mark. But you can pick any 2 points. Maybe I'll do an answer key. Mm-hmm.
I seem to be like understanding how to find the slope on all the graphing ones easily,
Mm-hmm.
but the ones where it's just the numbers, I'm kind of confused.
So that's where you want to use your formula. So I'm looking here.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. What was that? I'm just looking for a piece of scratch paper. Because I gotta use that one. It's a bunch of nonsense on it. So if you're not given a graph, your formula is to take your second y coordinate and subtract it from the first y coordinate, and then your second x coordinate and subtract it from your first x coordinate.
So it'd be 8 minus 4
Mm-hmm.
over
Mm-hmm.
x minus 2.
Mm-hmm. And then they're saying that the slope has to equal -1/2. So you would equal, and then -1 on the top, over 2.
So it's just a proportion again?
Mm-hmm.
So
I would subtract that first just to.
So this would be 8 minus 4 is 4, so 8.
Yep. So then you would write it like 8. Again, be in the habit of writing
Yeah,
it like
so
algebra
8
sentence because it's going to help you. 8 equals.
8 equals x minus 2 times 1.
Yeah, you guys can go. So you have -1 times x minus 2. They're going for pictures. Sorry, we talked about it at the beginning of class,
So
which is why there's confusion. But
this
they're just getting their pictures
one
taken.
would be. This one would be.
Well, you have to finish this. This isn't done.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to I can solve them. I just need. So this one would be this minus this.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 minus 3 over x minus 4 is equal to -1 over.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Again, for this, I'm going back to over here. Use parentheses
okay.
instead of that multiplication sign so that you know you have to distribute it in.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Grace?
For this one that was asking if they were parallel, I got -3 over 1 and 3 over 1. Would those still be the same?
Yeah, because this one is negative.
Oh, okay.
Let me see what you did. So you went Oh, you picked out 2 points, I think. This is -1. Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't know what. You just looked at that word. But if you see that you're from left to right, if your lines are going down, then they're negative. So since it's decreasing here, you can just throw your negative sign in front of it.
Thank you. So would y times square root be 5y? Or
You're not multiplying it. You're subtracting. So your top would be 4y minus y over 2 minus -4.
okay,
So then if you have 4 y's and you take one of them away, how many do you have?
3y.
So you have 3y over 2 minus -4 turns into a big plus sign, so you have 6.
Okay.
And then if your slope's just a +6, you can put it over 1.
Okay.
So you can see that your vertical change is 6, that means your horizontal change is 1.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Is this tomorrow or Thursday?
You guys can turn this in, like the due date on it is scheduled for Thursday after study hall. And like I said, I'm not gonna give you anything new to do tomorrow. It'll be this. I'm making my answer key right now, so I'll upload the answer key so that you can look at it tomorrow. But you won't have to turn it in until Thursday, because that's technically the next like class. Yeah.
What's done with my packet? Do you want me to go to the office to ask about my iPad now?
That's up to you,
So
like I
have
said,
it on
because
Thursday for your lesson?
right. I mean, and it's like, because it seems to be not just an issue in here. Like you seem
Yeah.
to be having a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And did Mrs. Walker tell you about going down to see the tech guy too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you not done that yet?
No, because she said like it's up to me. Like you said, I just didn't know like.
Right. But if you're having all these issues that are
Yeah.
kind of impacting your classes, then you would want to kind of decide when to go do that for yourself.
Okay, I mean I'm like done with that, so I guess I'll
Right.
go.
But they might take it, and then you're not going to have it for the rest of your day.
Yeah, I'll just ask them and see what I should do.
But yeah, it's something that I definitely would do if you're having so many of these issues. What's up, Sai?
Confused.
Which one? So those are the ones where we know how to find a slope. We take the y values and subtract them. So like here's x1, y1, x2, y2. So we would find the slope by doing 8 minus 4. And then I don't know what x is, but I would just write it as saying, well, x minus 2. They're telling me that the slope has to be equal to -1/2. So whatever I get here has to be -1 over 2. So we can condense that because 8 minus 4 is just 4. So we're just going to rewrite it so it's easier. And then to figure out what this number has to be, solve your proportion. So 4 times 2 is 8. -1 times that whole piece. So then to solve it, you would end up distributing stuff in and solving it from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have a question. Like, I'm confused.
So you're given 2 points. So we can label them A and B. So then you're just counting what's the vertical change from A to B.
5.
Yep. So, and I haven't gone over this, but the letter M stands for slopes. That's why I'm going to write M. So M equals 5 over, and then what's the horizontal change from A to B?
30.
Yep. So that's your slope. That's it.
I was just confused because I was thinking like, is 1 and Get with the other one.
rise and run.
Yeah.
So it's just shorter, but it's just your vertical change over your horizontal change.
That's what I thought.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, I think I'm just gonna go now. We have a free period, one period, a few periods after this, and my next period's coming up soon.
That's fine. I'm still like recording everything. I guess I didn't really need to do that.